Welcome to The Deep Dive, the show that really gets into the forces shaping our world. Today, we're jumping right into the deep end with AI. It's moving so incredibly fast.
Oh, absolutely. It's, reshaping everything, how we create things, how we find information.
Yeah, and even hitting some really fundamental stuff, like our ideas about privacy.
Exactly. So our mission today really is to cut through the hype, pull out the important bits, maybe share some surprising facts, and just help you make sense of what actually matters in this AI landscape.
Think of it like a shortcut to getting properly informed. We've got insights from some recent reports, and we're going to unpack quite a bit.
Right. We'll look at these new AI tools letting almost anyone build apps.
Then there's the intense race for AI talent and computing power. Super high stakes there.
And a really critical warning about privacy, especially when you're talking to AI. That one's a bit uncomfortable, actually.
Yeah, it is. And finally, how AI is already dramatically changing web traffic patterns.
So yeah, lots to get into. Should be some aha moments, hopefully.
Definitely. Let's dive in. So first up, AI tools for creation. It feels like AI is just fundamentally changing what coding even means, right? Or just building stuff online.
Totally. It's like this democratization of creation.
Yeah.
See this huge surge in what people are calling vibe coding tools.
Vibe coding, I like that. And the startups doing this, like Lovable, Cursor, they're basically gold dust right now. Investors, buyers, everyone wants them.
And now Google's throwing its hat in the ring.
Yeah.
They've got a new tool called Opal.
Opal, okay. And it's in testing now.
Yeah, for U.S. users through Google Labs,
Oh.
their experimental playground.
So how does it actually work?
Well, it's pretty wild. You can basically create these mini web apps just by typing descriptions, text prompts.
So less like writing lines of code, more like just telling the AI the vibe you want.
Exactly. Or you can start by remixing existing apps from a gallery they have. The tool then uses different Google AI models to actually build the thing.
Okay, but is it just a black box? Or can you see what's happening?
No, that's the cool part. There's an editor panel where you can see the visual workflow, like the input, the output, the steps it took.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and you can click on any step, see the prompt that made it happen, even edit that prompt.
So you can tweak it.
And you can manually add steps too from a toolbar. Then, when you're done, you just publish it, share it online. People can test it with their Google accounts.
Okay, that feels like a really big step because Google's AI Studio already lets developers build with prompts, right? But this visual workflow thing, it feels like they're aiming way broader, like non-technical people.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. It's not just making coding easier, it's changing who a developer is. It's less about syntax, more about articulating a vision.
Which could unleash, I don't know, a whole wave of super specific, personalized tools we haven't even thought of yet.
It could.
Yeah.
And, Google isn't alone here. You've got Canva, Figma, Replit. They're all building things like this, empowering non-coders to make apps.
So for you listening, this is huge, right? The barrier to creating an app, it's just plummeted. You don't actually need to be a programmer anymore to bring an idea to life.
It's a massive shift. Now, if AI is letting individuals create more easily, that kind of leads to the next question. Who's building the AI itself?
Right. Which brings us to this incredibly high-stakes race for AI leadership. And Meta seems to be making some really aggressive moves.
They really are. Mark Zuckerberg just announced Shengjia Zhao as the chief scientist of Meta Superintelligence Labs, or MSL.
Shengjia Zhao. That name rings a bell, isn't that?
Yep. Huge pedigree. Former OpenAI researcher.
Wow.
Contributed to ChatGPT, GPT-4, and OpenAI's first AI reasoning model, o1.
Okay, so that's a massive hire for Meta, like stealing a star player from the competition.
Pretty much. And it's interesting how Zhao fits in. They'll set the research agenda under Alexander Wang.
The former Scale AI CEO, who seemed like a bit of an unusual pick, maybe, since he's not from a pure research background.
Right. So bringing in Zhao, a really respected research leader, adds that crucial depth and kind of rounds out the leadership team. And these reasoning models like o1, they're key.
Because they're trying to actually solve problems, not just predict text.
Exactly. A step towards more, human-like intelligence. It's a big focus area.
And it's not just Zhao, is it? Meta's been on a hiring frenzy for MSL.
Oh, completely insane.
Yeah.
They're pulling top researchers from OpenAI, Google DeepMind, Safe Superintelligence, Apple, Anthropic.
Wow. Basically everywhere.
Yeah, and even from their own existing labs, like FAIR and the Generative AI Unit. Zuckerberg himself is apparently getting involved, sending emails, inviting people to his place in Lake Tahoe.
Like some kind of AI talent recruitment camp at his vacation home.
Kind of. And the money is just staggering. $8 nine-figure packages being reported.
9 figures, seriously.
Apparently. And using exploding offers, really tight deadlines to force a decision, it's reshaping the whole talent landscape.
And talent needs power, right? They're also investing heavily in computing infrastructure.
Massively. There's Prometheus, this huge cloud computing cluster they're building in Ohio, 1 gigawatt, expected by 2026.
1 gigawatt, just to put that in perspective.
It's enough energy to power over 750,000 homes. You need that kind of scale for the massive training runs these frontier models require.
So strategically, it sounds like Meta is really gunning for those reasoning models, especially since they don't have their own O1 equivalent yet, which Zhao helped build at OpenAI.
Makes sense, right? This hire clearly signals they want to close that gap fast.
And now Meta has 2 chief AI scientists, Zhao at MSL and Jan LeCun, still heading up the FAIR lab for long-term research.
Yeah, how MSL, FAIR, and the Gen AI unit all work together. That'll be interesting to watch.
Definitely. But bottom line, Meta now looks like a really formidable competitor to OpenAI and Google in this race.
No question. And what this aggressive push means for AI development globally, it suggests things are just going to accelerate even faster, pushing boundaries quicker than ever.
Which, speaking of pushing boundaries, also brings up some pretty critical questions about how we actually use these powerful tools, especially with our personal information.
Right. Which leads us, maybe uncomfortably, to AI privacy. Or the lack thereof, sometimes.
Yeah. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman recently gave a really stark warning. He basically said there's currently 0 legal confidentiality if you use ChatGPT for sensitive stuff like therapy or emotional support.
Which is kind of alarming, considering how people use it. Altman said, in this quote, "People talk about the most personal osh in their lives to ChatGPT."
Wow.
Yeah. You mentioned people, especially younger users, using it like a therapist, a life coach, for relationship advice.
Okay, but here's the problem, right? If you talk to an actual therapist or a lawyer or a doctor, there are legal protections, confidentiality, privilege.
Exactly. But for AI chats, there's just nothing. No legal framework, no policy right now.
So the consequences, OpenAI would have to hand over those chats in a lawsuit.
That's what Altman said. They'd be legally required to produce them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, even if you're just brainstorming creatively and share something personal, could that pop up later in some unrelated legal thing? Sounds like it could.
Yikes.
Altman's own view is that the situation is, quote, very screwed up. He thinks AI conversations should have the same privacy protections as, talking to your doctor.
It highlights this huge gap in regulation, doesn't it? And it affects people who might be using AI for support because maybe they can't access traditional services.
Precisely. And it's not just theoretical for OpenAI. They're apparently fighting a court order right now, part of the New York Times lawsuit.
Oh, right.
That would force them to save chats from potentially hundreds of millions of users worldwide. Not enterprise users, but regular users.
And they're appealing that.
Yeah, calling it an overreach. They're worried it sets a precedent for more legal demands, maybe law enforcement requests too, which, tech companies deal with all the time for user data.
It sort of echoes other privacy shifts we've seen, right? Like after Roe v. Wade was overturned, people got really conscious about period tracking apps and data security.
Exactly. People are starting to realize just how much sensitive data lives in these digital spaces.
Yeah.
It makes you think twice, doesn't it? Even asking for cooking advice feels different now, let alone something deeply personal.
Yeah. I heard even Theo Von, the comedian, mentioned being wary about privacy with ChatGPT, and Altman basically agreed, saying, it makes sense to really want the privacy clarity before using it heavily.
So for you listening, the takeaway is, be really mindful about the privacy implications. Understand the risks before you share anything sensitive with an AI. It's a critical thing to consider.
Definitely critical. Okay, let's shift gears one last time. Let's talk about AI's influence on just plain old web traffic, how we find stuff online.
Yeah, and the latest data here is pretty dramatic. It shows a really profound shift happening.
How dramatic are we talking?
Well, new numbers from SimilarWeb show AI referrals. So traffic coming from AI platforms to the top 1,000 global websites. They were up 357% year over year in June 2025.
357% in 1 year.
Yep. Reaching 1.13 billion referrals in that month alone. Massive growth.
Okay, that sounds huge. But how does it compare to, say, Google search?
Right. Context is key. It's still way behind Google search, which drove something like 191 billion referrals in the same period. So AI is growing fast, but search is still the giant.
Got it. And which AI platform is driving most of this referral traffic?
Overwhelmingly ChatGPT. It accounted for over 80% of all those AI referrals to the top 1,000 sites. It's basically running the show for AI web traffic right now.
And this must be having a big impact, especially on news and media sites. Publishers have been worried about this, haven't they?
Oh, yeah. They've been concerned about traffic drops for a while. There's even that term Google Zero, the fear that Google might just stop sending traffic eventually because answers are right there in the search results.
And the Wall Street Journal has reported that Google's AI overviews are hitting news site traffic.
That's right. And a Pew Research study kind of backs this up. They found AI overviews showed up in about 18% of the Google searches they looked at.
Okay.
But those searches only led to an 8% click-through rate to the actual articles linked. Compare that to 15% clicks when there wasn't an AI summary.
So people are getting the answer from the AI and just not clicking through to the sources often.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Although, interestingly, direct AI referrals to news and media sites specifically were up massively 770% since June 2024.
Wow, 770%. But some big names, like the New York Times, are blocking AI crawlers, right? Because of the lawsuits over training data.
Correct. But others are getting significant traffic. The top ones similar web listed were Yahoo, Yahoo Japan, Reuters, The Guardian, Indie Times, Business Insider, all getting over 1 million AI referrals in June.
And just to be clear, SimilarWeb is counting referrals from platforms like ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Claude.
Yeah, exactly. ChatGPT, Gemini, DeepSeek, Grok, Perplexity, Claude, and Liner were the ones they tracked for this.
Okay. And it's not just news, right? What about other categories? E-commerce.
Yep. Amazon was the leader there with 4.5 million AI referrals. Etsy got 2 million, eBay 1.8 million.
And tech and social media?
Google itself got a huge number, 53.1 million referrals from AI platforms. Then Reddit, Facebook, GitHub, Microsoft, Canva, Instagram, LinkedIn, Bing, Pinterest, all seeing millions of referrals too.
It's really widespread then.
Absolutely. Look across other categories. YouTube got 31.2 million, Wikipedia 10.8 million. Even government sites like NIH.gov got over 5 million. Plus sites like ResearchGate, Zillow, Investing.com, Home Depot, Kayak, Zara, hundreds of thousands to millions each is touching everything.
So for you listening, the takeaway here is AI is fundamentally changing how we find and access information online. It's not just about searching anymore, it's about prompting.
Right. And that has huge implications for users, for content creators. Everyone needs to think about their digital habits and strategies now.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the main points from this deep dive. First, this incredible democratization of app building with tools like Google Opal. Vibe coding is actually becoming a thing.
Then we saw Meta's super aggressive push for AI dominance, grabbing top talent, investing billions in computing power, really going for it.
We also tackled that really critical and frankly still wide open issue of AI privacy. Sam Altman's warning about sensitive chats having no legal protection is, well, it's sobering.
Definitely. And finally, the undeniable proof that AI is rapidly reshaping web traffic. How we find information is changing fast.
Understanding these trends hopefully gives you a much better handle on navigating this incredibly fast-moving AI world. More confidence, more insight.
Yeah, it helps to connect the dots.
So here's something to think about. As AI gets woven even deeper into our lives, building our apps, maybe giving us advice, how much more are we going to need to rethink things like privacy, intellectual property, even just the basic ways we discover information online?
That's a big question. Lots to chew on there.
Yeah. Indeed. Something to ponder until our next deep dive.